Robert Plant, one of rock's greatest vocalists, is known for his mesmerizing voice that played a pivotal role in Led Zeppelin's monumental success. His iconic performances on songs like Stairway to Heaven, Black Dog, and Kashmir continue to captivate audiences of all ages. Plant's charismatic stage presence, with his tall, slender figure, wild blonde curls, and magnetic force, places him among the likes of Mick, Jagger, and Freddie Mercury. Even after Led Zeppelin's breakup, Plant's solo career has been remarkable as he continuously reinvents himself and explores new musical territories while maintaining his iconic vocal style. However, beyond his rock star image, Plant's life has had its share of hardships, showcasing a more complex and human side to the legendary musician. Robert Anthony Plant was born on August 20, 1948, in the industrial heartland of West Bromwich, Staffordshire, England. He was the son of Robert C. Plant, a skilled civil engineer and Royal Air Force veteran from World War II, and Annie Celia Plant, who brought Romani roots into the family. From a young age, Plant was drawn to singing and rock and roll. Reflecting on his childhood in a 1994 interview with Andrew Denton, he recalled his early fascination with Elvis Presley. As a child, he would hide behind the curtains at home during Christmas, trying to emulate Elvis. The ambience created between the curtains and the French windows produced a unique sound that captivated him as a 10-year-old, and he always aspired to capture that essence. Leaving King Edward VI Grammar School for Boys in Stourbridge during his mid-teens, Plant immersed himself in the blues, inspired by legends like Willie Dixon and Robert Johnson. He had been quite interested in his stamp collection and Romani British history, but he felt a calling through the airwaves, drawing him away from his academic pursuits. Plant's time in chartered accountancy training was brief. He dropped out after only 2 weeks to attend college, seeking more GCE passes and to dive into the burgeoning blues scene of the English Midlands. He left home at 16, beginning his real musical education by moving from group to group, deepening his understanding of blues and other weighty music. Influenced by blues greats like Booker White, Skip James, Jerry Miller, and Sleepy John Estes, Plant juggled various jobs while pursuing his musical dreams. In 1967, he worked for the British construction giant Wimpey in Birmingham, laying tarmac, and had a brief stint at Woolworths in Halesowen. He recorded 3 obscure singles with CBS Records and performed with multiple bands, including the Crawling King Snakes, where he met drummer John Bonham. Their collaboration led them to the Band of Joy, where they blended blues with the psychedelic sounds of the era. Although Robert Plant was Led Zeppelin's lead singer, he wasn't the chief executive of the band. That role belonged to Jimmy Page. 4 years older than Plant, Page was already a seasoned professional musician when he formed the band in 1968. With extensive experience as a session musician and a stint with the Yardbirds, Page brought significant industry knowledge and a reputation for being a hard-nosed businessman. This background made it unsurprising that he took the search for a lead singer very seriously. At the time, Robert Plant was a relatively unknown and untested vocalist. Terry Reid, on the other hand, was an established rock singer and songwriter. While Reid isn't super famous today, The Observer reports that back in 1969, Aretha Franklin praised him highly, saying, "There are only 3 things happening in England: the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and Terry Reid." When Page began assembling the band that would become Led Zeppelin, he invited Reid to be the lead singer. However, Reid had already committed to being the opening act on several tours. He suggested that if Page could wait a few weeks, they could talk, but Page didn't want to wait. Reid actually recommended Plant to Page, and the rest, as they say, is history. According to Reid, there are no regrets or hard feelings. He says his musical interests were diverging from rock music, and he wasn't into what he calls hard rock anymore. Jimmy Page's meticulous approach in forming Led Zeppelin extended beyond just finding the right lead singer. He carefully selected each band member to create a unique and powerful sound. Alongside Plant, he brought in John Paul Jones, a versatile multi-instrumentalist and fellow session musician, and John Bonham, a drummer known for his powerful playing style. This lineup became iconic, with each member contributing significantly to the band's distinctive style and massive success. Additionally, Page's vision for Led Zeppelin wasn't limited to their music. He also had a clear idea of how the band should be managed and marketed. Under his leadership, Led Zeppelin pioneered innovative concert experiences, often playing extended live versions of their songs and incorporating elaborate light shows. In 1968, a 19-year-old Robert Plant was unknown in the music world, despite having a record contract with CBS Records and releasing a few songs. While he hadn't achieved much success, Plant was already a confident artist, actively writing and performing his own music. Yet, if you examine an original pressing of Led Zeppelin's debut album, you won't find his name in the songwriting credits. This absence is particularly curious given his evident talent and involvement. It turns out that Plant's exclusion from the credits wasn't due to a lack of contribution, but rather a legal technicality. According to Showbiz cheat sheet, Plant's contract with CBS Records prevented him from being credited on Led Zeppelin's album, which was released under Atlantic Records. Despite his significant input in the songwriting process, the legal constraints barred him from receiving official recognition. George Case, an expert on the band, highlights that Led Zeppelin's songwriting in those early days was highly collaborative, making Plant's lack of credit seem even more absurd. Interestingly, more recent pressings of the album do list Plant as a co-writer on Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, a change brought about by a later lawsuit. This edition acknowledges his contributions, though it's a small consolation given the broader context. The fact that Plant doesn't get credit for his contributions to one of rock history's most iconic albums is a significant oversight. It underscores the often complex and unfair nature of the music industry, where legal entanglements can overshadow artistic contributions. In 1970, Robert Plant's life seemed like a dream. As the charismatic frontman of Led Zeppelin, he enjoyed unparalleled success. Recently married to Maureen Wilson, with their newborn daughter Carmen, they lived a serene life on a rural English farm, surrounded by their cherished pets. However, amidst his flourishing career and personal happiness, Plant encountered two terrifying near-death experiences in separate car accidents. According to accounts from various sources, including Ultimate Classic Rock and Rolling Stone, the first incident took place around the time of Led Zeppelin's meteoric rise and the legal battle over Stairway to Heaven. Allegations surfaced that Plant had attended a Spirit concert and interacted with members of the band, accusations he vehemently denied due to a subsequent memory loss caused by a severe car crash. During his testimony, Plant recounted the traumatic event, detailing the injuries sustained by himself and Maureen. As BBC News and The Guardian reported, Plant described Maureen's fractured skull and the horrifying image of part of the windshield embedding in his head. The severity of the accident obliterated his memory of the events preceding it, including the alleged encounters with Spirit members. Plant's testimony not only provided insight into his personal trauma but also raised questions about the reliability of memory in the face of extreme adversity. Despite the legal turmoil and unsettling accusations, Plant's resilience and candor highlighted the human capacity to endure and overcome even the darkest of moments. Robert Plant, the legendary voice behind Led Zeppelin's thunderous anthems, found himself in the grip of a haunting silence when vocal cord surgery cast a shadow over his illustrious career. As a consequence of sound reveals, the late 2000s marked the emergence of Plant's vocal struggles, shattering concert plans and igniting fears among devoted fans regarding the fate of his iconic voice. Echoes of Plant's anguish reverberated across music news outlets like NME and The Guardian, painting a somber portrait of a singer grappling with his own instrument. In candid interviews, Plant bared his soul, recounting the profound impact of surgery-induced vocal impairment, a relentless torment that demanded a painstaking reclamation of his once mighty voice. Despite the crushing setbacks, Plant refused to succumb to despair. In a poignant dialogue with The Telegraph, he unveiled the arduous journey of vocal rehabilitation, a solitary path paved with uncertainty and self-doubt. With unwavering resolve, he clung to hope, clinging to the belief that patience and perseverance would guide him back to the stage. Through countless trials and tribulations, Plant's voice, once silenced, emerged from the depths of despair. With each note reclaimed, he defied the odds, a phoenix rising from the ashes of adversity. As a Rolling Stone heralded his triumphant return to live performances, fans and critics alike hailed Plant's resilience, a beacon of strength illuminating the darkest corners of his soul. In 1970, Robert Plant basked in the glow of success as the charismatic frontman of Led Zeppelin. Newly married to Maureen Wilson and cherishing the arrival of their daughter, Carmen, their picturesque life on a rural English farm seemed straight out of a fairy tale. Yet, fate had two cruel twists in store, plunging Plant into the depths of despair through two harrowing near-fatal car accidents. As reported by the Irish Times, the first incident occurred amidst the turmoil of a copyright infringement trial over Led Zeppelin's iconic Stairway to Heaven. As recounted by Lauder, tragedy struck on August 4th when a rented car careened off the road on the island of Rhodes. Plant, alongside Maureen and their children Carrick and Carmen, endured a horrifying ordeal as the vehicle hurtled over a ledge, lodging in a tree. The aftermath left Plant with a shattered leg, Maureen unconscious and bleeding, and their children injured. Their miraculous survival defied the odds. With dreams of a tour shattered, Led Zeppelin rallied to create their 1976 album Presence. However, Plant's recording sessions, conducted from a wheelchair, bore the weight of his physical and emotional trauma. As Ultimate Classic Rock notes, the album's haunting lyrics mirrored Plant's battle with depression, a somber reflection of the darkness that engulfed his world. In the face of adversity, Plant's resilience shone through, a testament to the indomitable spirit that defined him. His journey, marked by triumph and tragedy, stands as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable odds. In 1977, Led Zeppelin was a band striving to regain its former glory. Forced into a semi-hiatus in 1975 due to Robert Plant's horrific car crash injuries, the band watched as the music landscape shifted with the advent of punk rock. Their 1976 album, Presence, though powerful, was seen as a lesser entry in their otherwise stellar catalogue. Determined to reassert their dominance, Led Zeppelin embarked on a world tour with the intent to prove they were still the world's biggest rock band. The tour, however, got off to a shaky start. Plant lost his voice for several weeks, necessitating the postponement of several tour dates. By April, they were finally on the road, ready to reclaim their throne. Tragedy struck on July 26, 1977. According to Ultimate Classic Rock, Plant received two devastating phone calls. The first informed him that his son, Carrick, was ill. Shortly after, the second call delivered the crushing news that his 5-year-old son had died. Just a week earlier, Plant's daughter, Carmen, had battled a stomach virus and recovered. When Carrick fell ill, it was initially believed to be the same virus. Tragically, Carrick's condition worsened significantly. Plant immediately left the tour and flew home, grappling with the unimaginable loss. The remaining tour dates were understandably cancelled as Plant and his family faced this heartbreaking tragedy. The death of Carrick profoundly impacted Plant and Led Zeppelin. The band's momentum was halted, and the emotional toll on Plant was immense. This period of mourning and reflection deeply influenced Plant's subsequent work and the band's future direction. Robert Plant has etched his name in rock history as one of the genre's most successful musicians. As the iconic lead singer of Led Zeppelin, he fronted one of the most legendary hard rock bands ever. Yet, his solo career, spanning over 4 decades, has been equally remarkable, far surpassing the 12 years he spent with Led Zeppelin in terms of longevity and output. Despite his success, there was a moment in 1977 when Plant seriously contemplated abandoning music altogether. This profound shift occurred after the tragic death of his 5-year-old son, Carrick. In an interview with Lauder, Plant revealed, "I was thinking about the merit of my life at that time, and whether or not I needed to put a lot more into the reality of the people that I loved and cared for, my daughter and my family generally. So yeah, I was ready to jack it in." He echoed this sentiment more bluntly to the Rolling Stone, stating, "I lost my boy. I didn't want to be in Led Zeppelin. I wanted to be with my family." Plant's despair and the pull of family life almost led him to leave the rock star lifestyle behind and pursue a career as a teacher. However, it was his best friend and Led Zeppelin's drummer, John Bonham, who convinced him to continue. Bonham's encouragement helped Plant find the strength to carry on with both his music and Led Zeppelin, despite the overwhelming grief he faced. In addition to his musical pursuits, Plant had another profound love, his longtime partner, Maureen Wilson. The couple married in 1968 and shared many years together, but their relationship was not without its trials. Maureen stood by Plant through the highs and lows of his career, including the tragic death of their son, Carrick, in 1977. Despite the bond they shared, Plant and Wilson eventually grew apart. According to Classic Rock, the pressures of Plant's career and the strains of life on the road contributed to their eventual separation in 1983. Plant never remarried, but he did have a long-term relationship with singer-songwriter Patty Griffin before they split up in 2014. By the time Led Zeppelin released their final studio album in 1979, Plant felt less connected to the group. Tragedy struck again when John Bonzo Bonham, Led Zeppelin's iconic drummer and Plant's closest friend, died. Reports indicated Bonham had consumed a large amount of vodka within 12 hours before his death, which was ruled accidental due to chronic alcohol poisoning during sleep. Months after Bonham's passing, Led Zeppelin disbanded, announcing their breakup in a press release expressing affection for their late drummer and concluding they could not continue as they were. Fast forward to 2024, and even at 75 years old, rock icon Robert Plant remains a lively presence in the music scene. He is currently performing worldwide with his acoustic project Saving Grace and teaming up for a summer tour with bluegrass legend Alison Krauss. While he mainly focuses on his established hits, Plant hasn't completely abandoned the idea of new music, hinting at possible solo projects alongside his collaborations. Although time and personal pursuits may have distanced him from former bandmate Jimmy Page, there is still mutual respect for the iconic legacy they created with Led Zeppelin. With a busy touring schedule and hints of fresh music on the horizon, it is clear that Robert Plant has no intentions of slowing down anytime soon.